All right, Next Level Podcast listeners, thanks for joining us again today. Today I am joined by Monica Shea. Monica, how are you doing today?
I'm good today. It's a little cold out. We got about a foot of snow in Colorado yesterday. Awesome for the end of May. It's the last week of school here.
Awesome. So you're getting snow at the end of May. Well, that just absolutely blows my mind. What part of Colorado are you in?
Colorado Springs. So we're not even in the mountains. So this is really unusual. Yeah. I did have one client actually text me today and say, I hate the snow. I'd like to move. And he was totally serious. He moved here about a year ago. And I was like, really? All right, we'll sell your house.
Wow. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he never read about Colorado before he moved there. I mean, who knows? Well, hey, Monica, you and I were introduced by a mutual friend of ours, Sean, and he just was really intrigued by your story and your business. He's known you for a number of years, and he thought it'd be really cool for us to talk and kind of talk a little bit about your business. So I thought, you know what? After I got the chance to hear from him, and then you and I chatted on the phone, I thought, you know what? That would be a good story, and that's kind of a good lesson to share with the Next Level Podcast listeners. One of the things we really try to do here on this podcast is highlight the fact that there's a lot of different ways to run your real estate business, and it doesn't have to be one way. There's not this one model and one model only. In fact, there's tons of different ways to be successful in real estate, and you certainly have found a great deal of success in yours. And so I thought it'd be cool if we just kind of talk to you a little bit about your, number one, sort of your business and what that looks like today, and then also how you got there.
Sure, absolutely. I love Sean. Thanks. And I appreciate Sean hooking us up. He said that you were going to be my people, so love it.
Yeah, Sean, and for those of you guys who wonder, we're talking about Sean Modry. He's a really good guy, mutual friend of ours, who I think I've known Sean for at least 7 or 8 years now. Really smart guy, really great cornerstone piece, just a solid dude in the real estate world. And he's based there in Denver, in the Denver area. But at any rate, this is about you, Monica. So tell me a little bit about your real estate business. What does your team look like today?
So we are a very simple model. It is me. I'm the lead agent. My husband, who has a background in healthcare of all things, he joined me after we had been dating for a few years, and that he is licensed. And then we have a full-time unlicensed assistant. We don't have any buyer's agents. We don't have inside salespeople. We are, just a simple kind of family-based team. Our assistant's not technically family, but she's like family at this point. Okay. We try to just be as efficient as possible. We don't have any plans to grow and add a bunch of agents. We like to be hands-on. I tell my clients, if you list your house with us or you hire us, we're who you get. I'm going to be the one calling you when we get an offer. We really love and enjoy, I would say maybe 95% of our clients. We feel really lucky to get to know them. And, this business, you get to meet people you would never meet otherwise. And really, most of our clients are such awesome people. I was in a closing this morning and, oh my gosh, I just loved it. I mean, it's great to be able to help someone in business, but when they're just great people and you're helping them change their lives, it's just so awesome. And again, people that you wouldn't normally get to meet. So that's why we are pretty committed to this small model, family-based model. Without hiring other agents. Yeah, if we're out of town, we have agents who will back us up to show and open doors. But that's kind of how we're structured.
Awesome. So while the team may be small in number of people, tell me, like, what was your production for the last 12 months or even just last year, if that's easier for you to remember rather than the last 12 months. But give us an idea of like how many units and volume are you guys selling right now?
This year to date, we're at about 14 million. I think it's 41 or 42 units. Okay. Our goal is to hit 30 this year.
Okay. So worth noting that we're recording this essentially in the middle of May. It's May 21st when we're recording this. It'll it'll get aired a few weeks later. However, so 14 million closed though year to date. We're not even halfway through. So well on your way to the goal of 30 million this year, which is a very healthy business. It's a very good business. And my guess is, based on the way it's structured, a very profitable business as well, too. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. How long have you been in real estate?
I got my license in 2009. And it was definitely do or die. I was just getting divorced. I was a single mom. I had a 6-year-old at home, and I had a $2,300 a month mortgage payment. And it was definitely that moment of, I hope this works. And I think my break evens were about $5,000 a month. And I would call my mom and my best friend, they're both in Florida, and I would say, in fact, Sean knew me not too long after that. I met Sean not too long after I'd gotten started, but I would call and say, just tell me I can do it. You don't have to believe it, but just tell me I can make it. And they would say very convincingly, you can do it. Like, just, you can do it. And I am just very grateful that I was able to do it. I'm grateful that I have the skills needed to be successful in this business, because I do look around and see a lot of new agents, especially in the market the last few years. People just flock to real estate. They think that is big, easy money.
Yes.
And there are some transactions when I'm like, God, I got paid for that? Like, that was pretty easy. But others where, you're like, damn, that was hard, and I sure earned my keep. And so I think after a few years of that, you realize I am worth every penny. And, so anyway, we work pretty hard for what we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I got started. I have a background in PR.
Okay.
And, I worked for a big chemical company doing PR. It was lots of fun. And then actually some real estate investment before I got my license.
Fantastic. So been in the business now for 10 years. And you've obviously built a great business. Tell me, so what is it, as your business has developed over the last 10 years, what have been some of the kind of like the core principles or the things that you've used to really define who you are? Like you mentioned, it was very clear to me a few minutes ago when you said we're kind of like a family business, and when you hire me to be your listing agent, I'm going to be the one that calls you to go over offers, et cetera. So there's a lot of things there that I sense are very important to you as the business owner and as the realtor. How did you develop those over time? And is that something you've always done, or has that just been kind of a progressive thing?
That's a great question. I would say it's something I've developed. I think when my husband came into the business with me about 5 or 6 years ago, he has a background in healthcare, and we kind of said, instead of patient care, your role is going to be more client care. And so for me, I'm a lot more numbers driven, and okay, what needs to be done today? What do I need to get done? So I'm a little bit more business minded and more driven in that regard. He has definitely helped me remind me to keep our focus on the people that we serve. And while my heart has always been there, for me personally, it's easy to get away from that a little bit and just be on that track of numbers and how am I doing with my goals, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we are pretty hands-on, and we just, our philosophy is to love on our clients, and we always are looking for new clients. We do always, a third of our business, we try to have new clients come in, but for the other 2/3, it is loving on our clients. And so staying in touch with them. We do events throughout the year. So we just did an event 2 weeks ago or so, the Saturday before Mother's Day, where we invited all of our past clients to our home, where we gave them like a couple of 4-packs of petunias and flowers and stuff to take home and plant. And we had roses for all the moms and like cookies and lemonade, and we took pictures of everyone. We are renting a theater for the Lion King movie, which is coming out in a couple months. And we're inviting all of our past clients to watch that movie with us. We'll talk more about Disney later. But so we try to do things like that all throughout the year. We rent a game place here in town that has like bowling and an arcade, and we cater it. And it's just time when we get to visit and catch up with our clients. We get to thank them for being so loyal to us and for referring people to us. One challenge we have is a lot of our clients, we do get to know so well throughout the transaction, and then it's closed, and we got to keep going. And we feel bad a lot of times because they say like, oh, can we grab dinner, or let me know when you're free for coffee. And as much as I want to do that, I've got how's this? I have a 15-month-old and a 15-year-old children at home. So like we are stretched with any kind of social time. If it's not, someone we're working with currently, that social time is hard to fit in. So these client events give us that chance to catch up.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a lesson probably a lot of us could learn from is there is actually so much business to be able to get just from loving on the people that you already know, that you've already worked with, and that are kind of already in your world. They've already trusted you enough either to do business with you or maybe to refer people to you in the past. And if we just love on them, what happens is they tend to return that in favors of referrals. I recorded a podcast last week with a gentleman whose name is Dean Jackson. That is, by now it's been released by the time this one has. And he was talking about essentially the law of reciprocity is when you do something for somebody, there's an innate thing, it's subconscious that we as humans, we want to be able to return the favor. We want to be able to provide value to other people. And so when we as the real estate professional take the opportunity, or really this works for any business, when we are the ones who are going, hey, how do I bring value to my customers' lives, to my clients' lives, and how do I make that better? What they do subconsciously, again, whether they realize it or not, is they go, well, that's a really great experience. And if I share that with someone else, they feel like they get just as much, if not more than we do, as the person who receives that referral, right? Or receives that benefit of the referral. And so I can't stress that enough. I think that's so important. And I think it's so great that way you guys have really focused in on making sure that's a key piece of your business growth.
Totally. And really for us, it's so much more enjoyable and fun when it's someone we know or someone who we know has said, go talk to Monica.
Well, yes, because like, isn't that such a warmer like setup? And I mean, we've all had those calls. Anybody who's sold real estate for a while, they've had a client where it was cold as cold as could be, whether you just sort of ran into them somewhere or maybe it was an internet lead, but then you've also had the referral from someone who's had a great experience and set you up like as, hey, Monica is absolutely the best of the best. You want to work with her and nobody else. And when they call you, it's almost like they're saying, would you mind, Monica? Do you think you might maybe sort of have the time to work with me?
Right.
And you're thinking, well, yeah, I think I could find the time. That client is just, that experience is just so much better. And I think anybody in this business knows that we would all day long like to have that 10 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah, we are all about the warm and fuzzy.
That's awesome. So, okay, so let's dig into that because you mentioned Disney. I could see the hat there in the background. So what is this Disney thing? And is this something that you're using in your business? I sense that you've obviously got a high level of customer service and a lot of kind of loving on your client after the fact. So is that part of this Disney thing? Like, how does this tie in?
It's kind of how the idea was born. And so I've always been a big Disney person. I grew up in Florida. I love Disney. And I really had been thinking for, 6 months or a year or so in the back of my mind, how can I tie in Disney with real estate? I really love what I do. I don't want to go work for Disney. But I was like, there's got to be some way I can kind of tie the two in. And so I formed this member network called Agent of Excellence. And it's based on the spirit of Disney for real estate professionals. So there are a couple facets to it. One is we've got a Facebook community, Agent of Excellence, and we've got like a house and a castle logo. It's very Disney inspired. We are not owned by Disney. And then we have the member network. So for $350 a year, you can brand yourself as an agent of excellence, and you can use all of our materials. And we have got lots of things that you can use in your marketing too. Like we have this really cool kid contract where if you have clients with small children who are selling their home, it's some incentive for them to help keep their room clean, things like that. So all kinds of fun stuff like that you can really use in your business that adds some of that warm and fuzzy element, whether your clients are Disney people or not. It really has no bearing.
So and these are things that you learned from Disney?
These are things that I learned by being a student of what Disney's principles are. So not direct, I mean, Disney doesn't have a kid contract for listing your house. But as I've really studied, I've read books and books and books. I've studied and studied what they do. I've taken training at Disney World. These are things that I've turned around and applied to a real estate practice. So we've got that member network, and then there's a referral network as part of that. We have events throughout the year. So if, for example, if anyone's going to the D23 Expo in Anaheim, if you're not a Disney person, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but Disney people know D23 is the official fan club. And they do a giant expo in Anaheim every other year. And it's like 60,000 people. It's a big one. Yeah.
That's
and
good.
This is my first time going. But for example, we're having a members only meet and greet there, which, I mean, it is an official networking meeting. It means that I get to write my trip off from Colorado to the D23 Expo. So, I mean, that is kind of a little side perk of being a member. If you are spending money at Disney anyway, you may be able to, some of that may be a legit business expense. But the third thing that we have, and this is really the most exciting thing, I think, is that Disney has agreed to help us put on a private learning event in October this year at Disney World. Disney Institute is going to be teaching about 3/4 of it. And then we have our own real estate speaker, Jean Volpe, who's coming in to tie in. It's a 3-day conference about, we call it making magic in real estate. So how do you apply what Disney does and how they treat their clients, how they design and implement amazing customer service systems, and how do you apply that to a real estate business? It's only for our members and for real estate. It's really awesome.
So I love that. What I love about this, Monica, is that you, number one, observed something else that you saw as something that's done excellent, right? Probably where the name Agents of Excellence comes from. Mm-hmm. It's a level of excellence when it comes to customer service, and even more so the customer experience. And you said, hey, I can take these business principles, these things I've even learned in training at Disney, and I can apply them to my business. I think so often one of the biggest misses that we have as realtors is we don't understand that we can take these principles of business that we see in other industries all the time and actually use them right here. You just reminded me, I've got a dear friend by the name of Shea and her mother Barb Van Poel in Dallas, in the Dallas, Texas area. I'll never forget, like, they consider themselves the Nordstroms of real estate. And it's that same thing. It's like, for them, they want to have that Nordstrom experience, right? If you go shop at Nordstrom, say, versus like Dillard's, it's a much different experience. And what they did the same thing. And what I'm hearing is you've really taken this, and now obviously you put together the curriculum. You didn't just implement it into your business, which is awesome that you did implement it into your business, because it tells me you're a student of what's going on around you. But then you also said, hey, I can take this and I can share it with other people and other agents, because now I've already sort of translated this for myself. Let me just share that with some others now as well. And the other thing here that I hope is not missed by anybody listening to this, because I think this might be the biggest golden nugget so far of our talk, which is the D23. Not that everybody should be going to D23, but like the Disney people know, right? You said it yourself. If you're a Disney person, you know what that is. What that said to me, though, was like, I've got a niche and I've got a community, and that really I can get into at a deep level. And this is a theme that has come up as occasionally I'll interview people who aren't active in the real estate industry for this show, because they've got great lessons to share with us as entrepreneurs. And this conversation I had just a few episodes ago with a buddy of mine named Luke, we talked about getting into the niche, and how when you niche down, which is one of the 22 immutable laws of marketing, by Al Rice and Jack Trout, when you get into a niche, that's actually the easiest and best way to get a business that gets really, really big. And so I think that I hope that's not lost on anybody, because I think that is an absolute golden nugget, even if you're not interested in the customer service side, if you're not interested in the Disney thing, but the lesson of going somewhere like a D3 where there is absolutely a community around something and being like the realtor, the go-to choice in that community is huge.
Yeah, it is definitely a niche, and really this is new, and so we just launched it really the first of the year. I mean, it's taken a lot of time and convincing to get Disney on board with us, and so that really was the big delay. And I've heard from other people, Sean, who have said that when I first told them about this idea and what I was working on, they kind of thought, like, there's no way Disney's going to agree to do that. But they did.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, so and it is a very rich niche because Disney people are nuts. I know it because I'm one of them. And we just love the brand and the culture of the company. They tap into that nostalgia like no other company in the world. And so you do get a lot of the warm and fuzzy, which for, a little bit of info on the class is that the conference that we're having in October, it's a 3-day conference and it is full authentic Disney. So one thing that's super cool, I know all the Disney people jump at the chance, is you get to go behind the scenes to areas that normal guests don't get to see. We're guided by cast members behind the scenes. Like there's a graduation ceremony and it's kind of emotional. Especially for Disney people, they definitely tap into your emotions for all that. You do get like the little graduation cap. So, I mean, it is a rich, authentic Disney experience, but it's really cool that it is directly applicable to real estate. And so it's just fun to find this niche that I've always kind of been in, because I love real estate and I love Disney. And to now have this growing community of other like Disney realtors that I get to collaborate with and get to know and have this community. I love it.
That's awesome. So, well, I was just going to ask you, but I think you really just answered the question I was about to ask you. I'm going to say it anyways. I was just going to ask you, but why go through the time and the pain of putting together the curriculum and putting together this 3-day class? Because let's face it, you're heavily involved in your real estate sales business. It's not like you are oozing free time right now, but I know for a fact that you're not going to get rich from doing a class like this, because we've certainly put on our fair share of events and we know how this stuff goes. It can seem like it's a lot of money, but when everybody, as my friend Joe Polish says, everybody does the addition, nobody does the subtraction.
Right.
And they're figuring out what it costs to do an event. So what is it that drives you to put this together and share it with other agents?
It's to build the community. I get personal satisfaction and fun from getting to know other agents who have this same love of Disney and real estate that I have. And our current members and the folks that have already signed up for the conference, here's why. So on our website, you can, it's theagentofexcellence.com. You can sign up to be on the interest list. And there's a space there where you can say, like, what else would you like us to know? And I get, I don't know, dozens a week, but people put comments in like, where have you been all my life? Or like, I've always wished there was something like this. Someone, I think it was a girl, just said last week, my worlds are colliding. So it's that kind of thing. And I talked to one agent in Nashville and he called me and he was like, why are you doing this? And we kind of talked about the class and he's like, this sounds amazing. Like, I've always wished there was something like this. And I'm like, Michael, you are my people. Like, that's why I'm doing this, because we're all out there, but who would ever know? Because, maybe in Colorado Springs, maybe there are, I don't know, 5 or 10 realtors who love Disney like I do. But I mean, I'm not going to hang out with them all the time. I'm sure they're great, but there's so many of us on a national level, even international, I should say. We've got some Canadians too coming. Awesome. But they're all out there, but we're just kind of all scattered around the country. So it's just so much fun, and it's so rewarding and enriching to me to bring everyone together. And for our business and our profession, it definitely elevates our standards. And, in this market, what are there, like 2 million licensed real estate agents in the country? In your market, it's something insane. Like, what do you have, like 100,000?
There's about 40,000 licensees. It's just in the Phoenix area alone, and about 75 to 80,000 total in Arizona.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not all performing at a high level of client care or standards. And so it's nice to be able to provide this community. And then for anyone who goes through the training, this designation, because then that you actually earn a designation that way. And you can let your clients know, like, I'm just not here to sell you a house and move on. Like, I'm committed to excellence, like world-class excellence. So it's very enriching for me.
That's awesome. Well, great. So tell me again, what is so there's a Facebook, tell me the name of the Facebook page and the website.
The website is theagentofexcellence.com.
Theagentofexcellence.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's the Facebook page?
Agent of Excellence.
Awesome. And then.
Yeah, and there are two. So there's a company in California that does some marketing. She's also Agent of Excellence, but you'll know we've got thousands of followers and likes. I think she has 5. So you'll know. And then we have a castle inside a house logo. You'll know immediately which is the Disney one.
Awesome. And if what we'll do is we'll put them in the show notes too.
Awesome.
So anybody can just kind of link to it right off, either if they're watching this on YouTube or if they're reading the show notes on wherever they listen at, they can just click on the link. So.
And I would invite everyone, if you're in real estate, go like the page and share it with your realtor friends, because you may not know who the Disney people are. They might be closet Disney people, but once they see this, they're going to be all over it. And so definitely help us get the word out. We really appreciate it. For the Disney people, it's an instant attraction.
That's awesome. Well, Monica, before we wrap up, is any last items that you want to leave us with today, or tips or anything burning desire to share before we wrap up for the day?
No, it's just such a joy to know you. We do have room still for the October conference. It is very exclusive. We are limited to about 50 seats. And so we're coming on about half full. And it's, like you said, mid-May. It's in October. And so we do have room. Any of you Disney agents out there who are interested, just hit me up on Facebook, or you can email me or whatever. We still have room for you to get in.
Well, fantastic. Well, Monica, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule today to kind of share with us a little bit about your business and the Agent of Excellence program and stuff that you put together, because I think that's very cool. I love that you're giving back to the real estate community and showing that things can be done different ways at a high level. So thanks a lot, and I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much. It was fun.
All right, Next Level Podcast listeners, we'll see you next week. Until then, have a great one.